Hello there, media planning and buying students. Welcome to week 12 of J322 Media Planning and Buying Online. I'm your instructor, Michael Metker. We have some important updates to go through here, and also some lectures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this week's video up into two sections. This first section here will be all about kind of some revised dates that I've published, and I know there's some questions regarding some of the assignments. So I'm going to walk you guys through in kind of grave detail each of these assignments, and hopefully, the time I've given you guys, extra time I've given you, will allow you to kind of huddle up with your teams digitally to meet the goals. So let's talk about those goals. So here's what we're going to talk about today, right? I want to talk about the final project presentation schedule. We're going to randomly select that as well. There's 11 teams, so normally I do this in class. But because we're not able to meet face-to-face, I've queued something up that will automatically slot each team into a spot. So you get what you get. You don't throw a fit in that situation. So we'll do that first. I wanted to remind you guys as well, there's a guest speaker on Thursday, 4/9 at 5 p.m. Kay Weigel has agreed to Zoom in with us. So that's something that will not be asynchronous. I'm hoping you guys will sign up and be ready to go on 5 o'clock during our normal class time this coming Thursday. So 4/9, some more information on that in a sec. And then we'll talk about assignments 6 and 7. Now, I did push out the dates on these to better reflect kind of our schedule. Sorry for all the changes, but I think this is obviously in your favor. So you now have till Sunday at midnight to get assignment 6 done. And we'll walk through some of the details there again, just to remind you guys what I'm looking for there. And then assignment 7 will be pushed out now to 4/19. So that's also now on Canvas. You'll see that the dates have changed. I've also updated the syllabus in case you're one of those folks who like to have that in front of you. So take a look at that as well. And then part 2 of this lecture today, or this week for week 12, will be regarding CATS chapter 12, and then also lecture on chapter 13 from the Young Book on big data and analytics. Time permitting as well, I want to talk about kind of the future of advertising and media planning in light of the coronavirus. So we'll also talk about that. All right, so again, to remind you guys, writing assignments and due dates have changed again. Sorry, but I think this is better, and I hope this is copacetic with your schedules. But assignment 6, you have a little more breathing room now. Today is Monday. You have till Sunday, so 5 or 6 days here to get down to some details on that assignment, and I'll walk you through kind of the details there in the next couple slides. Assignment 7, due now 4/19 on Sunday. And that's Voice of the Customer. That's an individual assignment. So whereas 6 and 8 are team efforts, number 7 is meant to be done individually. So we'll talk more about that as well. And then number 8, we maintain the date for number 8, which is 4/26 at 11:59. Again, everything pretty much now is due on Sunday with a few exceptions. Final presentation is one other change you'll notice, and I think we can get these things done in 3 days. So I've decided not to have 4 days. So we're gonna slot you guys into 3 spots, and generally it'll be 3 presentations on 4:30, 4 on 5/5, and 4 on 5/7. There's Kay Weigel. Please join us Thursday, 4/9 at 5 o'clock. She'll be, like I said, Zooming in, and I'll send you guys a link to the Zoom profile I set up. This will be good practice for us as well as we consider how we're going to handle our group presentations at the end of the semester. So good first pass here. I will be taking attendance, so I'm hoping you guys all can show up here. I'm assuming we all have we're all kind of in our homes and able to access the internet. If you're not, let me know. I'm going to try to record this as well so we can publish this then back to Canvas. But Kay's great. She's a senior vice president of Swanson Russell. I worked with her for many years before becoming a teacher. So she's got a lot of skills in this regard. So she's a great guest speaker. We're lucky to have her doing this for us. So try to make that meeting if you can this Thursday. All right, so let's do this. All right, so these are the slots for Thursday 4:30, Tuesday 5/5, and Thursday 5/7. I have actually set up this random org selector. So here are the teams. You'll see this here. Teams 1 through 11 are listed here. So I'm just going to hit randomize, and what's going to do is going to spit back to me a list, and this is going to be a one-shot deal. So you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. So let's do this. Let's hit the random button. All right. So here is the results. So so the first day, the first three here is Team 10, Team 3, and Team 5 are going first. And then the next four, Team 4, Team 6, Team 9, and Team 11 will go on the following Tuesday. And then the last day will be Team 8, Team 2, Team 7, and Team 1. So that's the order. I'm going to cut and paste this back in, and I'll publish this schedule here now. Obviously, your presentations are kind of the key, the thrust of this semester here. So you want to kind of try to hit those dates as best you can. Let's see what else I want to say about that. So more on that information as we get closer to our date, but just wanted you guys to kind of level set and emotionally prepare and mentally prepare for the date you guys are going to be scheduled, or are scheduled now. So I will slot this in here, and we'll make sure that we have, in fact, I'll do this right now. New slide. There you go. There's our schedule. Presentation schedule. All right. So that's that. We got that done. All right. Let's talk about assignment 6. I know there were some questions floating around via email, so I'm going to walk you guys through this again here. I'll do this for assignment 6 and number 7. Now, in every case, we're building on our previous work. Okay, so you're building off of what you've already learned about your brands. Okay, so assignment 5 factors into this, and you're going to regurgitate that. And what I encourage students to do is to obviously kind of build on what they've already uncovered, and I think you guys did a really good job generally on assignment 5. So you got a really good foundation here. 6 and 7 are really meant to kind of continue to expand upon that information through additional research. And you might find yourself having to go back to the drawing board with Simmons or with Statista or other things as well to kind of tease these out. But really the goal for assignment 6 is to take a stab at coming up with what we call those insights, right? Those consumer insights. So by now you kind of know a little bit about your demographics and some psychographic information regarding your target audience. That's really foundationally where a lot of these insights come from, right? It's how well do you know your consumers, your target consumers. So you have a baseline of understanding now. A lot of times people look at gender and other base things. Now the question is, can you build on that? And can you ladder up to something more important? And that's where I think 6 and 7 come in. 6 in particular, right? Asking you guys to build on your assignment 5 and rewrite those statements. I'll just read this here. The task is using the product and or category you've chosen for class assignments. Look at any and all information sources to further develop your understanding of marketing and media efforts in place for both your brand, product, and your competitors' brands and products. So that's the other thing too, right? Some insights can come from everywhere. So say, for example, you've been using Winmo, and everybody has been doing that, and you see an interesting sort of fact about one of your competitors' marketing spends, and maybe it's low in one area. That might be an opportunity for your brand to kind of exploit that and say, all right, they're not there, so we're going to go there. Those are the kinds of things we think about, right? So just one example of a few different things there. So, but you can also look at the category, right? So, for example, what's happening with COVID right now? And a lot of you guys have been writing about that as well. That's a really unique opportunity potentially for brands to kind of pivot and tell a story, or to not to capitalize at people's expense necessarily. Certainly we don't want to do that, but ultimately, does it provide opportunities? There's certain areas of opportunity that come up. Now, a lot of companies and a lot of people are struggling, as we know. But is there a way to flip that script to make COVID-19 work in your favor? And who knows what that might be, but lots of companies and brands right now are out there helping other people and being supportive of our efforts, because we are all in this together. So, but again, what's the strategy there behind this? So COVID-19, as much as it's a horrible thing, might be an opportunity for your brand. So it's one example of many opportunities that you could be looking at from an insight standpoint. Let's see. So more information on this information search. So some of the direction from assignment 5 remains valid for this assignment. Look at competitive spending, the articles you've uncovered there, and see where your brand fits in with the overall strategy. Does it lead the spending? Does it seem to spend at parity? Is it being outspent by another brand? So that's the thing you want to kind of build on as well. The idea here is to further your understanding of any aspects of product and category understanding and decide what information is particularly relevant. So some more information on this. I'm looking for 2 to 3 pages, obviously. You're going to take some stuff you did in assignment 5 and put that back in and build on that. What I'm expecting here is 6, well, here's the deliverables, right? So we're looking for 6 valuable insights. Now, the way I do this, if you got 3 people on your team, you could divide it up into 3 sections, so each person could be on the hook for coming up with a couple of insights. But again, you're taking the data, and a lot of this stuff is sort of forward thinking, intuition, based on some of the things you've uncovered, right? So what things about your brand, about your target audience are interesting and somewhat curious to you? And is there something there that could lead to these deeper insights? I know it sounds a bit squishy here, but again, they can come from anywhere. They can come from your competitive set, they can come from your own brand, from the uniqueness of your product, any one of those things. Maybe there's opportunities in certain markets that you've uncovered through your research, where you should be, where your brand should be. That's an insight as well. Just things that you see as an opportunity, or maybe it's a negative thing you could flip into an opportunity. So it does require some effort here. Now, you guys have had some time to think about this. I would say I'm giving you a little bit more time here till Sunday to really huddle up with your teams and to kind of build out those stories. But this is where the rubber hits the road. Due Sunday, April 12th. And we're looking for support for these ideas as well, as much as possible, right? So cast a wide net. Excuse me. You're looking at all the tools we have at the library. So LibGuides, we can drive through there. But I would even use the internet generally for search, branded search. But obviously, you want to get some hard-hitting stuff as much as possible. So use your tuition and go into LibGuides and play around with some of the tools we've discussed already in class. Due on April 12th now. So there you go. If you have any questions on that, now it's not a perfect science, obviously, right? And all we need really after we've uncovered our 6 here is one really good one that you can build a campaign around. And when you guys get this assignment in on Sunday, I'll turn this around quickly and give you guys feedback on which of those insights can hold water for a larger campaign. So then you guys will have confidence then to go back and really fashion a solid campaign. That's how it works. So divide and conquer, spread the wealth, have each person kind of work on 2 insights and meet back together for your final, your submission. All right, assignment 7. I'm going to introduce this as well here, which is due on 4/19 now. I moved the date out, so you've got a couple weeks on that one. But let's talk about this a little bit more. Now, this is a little bit more free-flowing. And like I mentioned before, assignment 7 is really about the voice of the customer. Assignment 7 also is an individual project, right? Now, you still have threads for each of your teams that you guys can share your work with, and that's what you should do, right? Hey, here's a thing I uncovered. Here's a link, that kind of thing. And then generate a dialogue around that. Because, again, these are the things the fodder that leads to the rock-solid insights, consumer insights. So you want to go out there and look around, right? Just go out to wherever people hang out and talk about brands. So it could be a link, it could be a blog, post. It could be a number of different things. Anything. It's amazing how deep the internet is, right? So look out there on the long tail of the internet to find information related to perceptions about your brand, product, or service. And obviously, that's something that people like to do. When they like a brand, they go out and they, good, bad, or indifferent, will talk about that brand. And frankly, good, bad, or negative or positive, all of it could be interesting, right? Even a negative post, especially in some cases, a negative post could lead to an intriguing campaign concept. So I would be literal with that, right? It's a narrative format. I'd like you to write a paper on this as much as possible. Here's the deliverable, right? So again, a restatement of your previous findings from 5 and 6. Add that back in again, and then I'd like you to go in and look for 6 more valuable insights that you found this time from the consumer's point of view. So look for those opinions, and maybe they're not fully vetted out. Maybe it's just somebody ranting about the product, but maybe there's something to that as well. So I'd like you guys to go out there and look for those. And obviously, again, looking for 6 of those for each person as best you can. And then, of course, support for those as well. Just basically show me links where you found that information so I can check if I want to. Think of me as your boss's boss, and I'm looking for a reasonably concise memo or document that cribs me or gives me information about how to build this media strategy we're building here for your brand. Okay, I'm looking for something that is information rich but relatively concise. Since you are starting with a few paragraphs that recap what you've already learned from 5 and 6, this should play out about 2 to 3 pages. That again is due on 4/19 at 11:59. So again, not a perfect science, right? So it requires some effort though. You can't just expect to get this done in an hour before it's due. So I would say giddy up on this one. In fact, you could do 6 and 7 simultaneously, and that's where I think you'll probably start seeing some really good stuff come out. When you have a hunch about something that came out of your research from a 6, that could fortify deeper questions and deeper research online in assignment 7 to really flesh those out. Again, ultimately, what I'm looking for here is for your team to come up with 1 or maybe 2 really solid consumer insights that you can build your campaign around. Okay. Now, hopefully that was helpful. I know, again, it's a bit squishy. But again, it's ingenuity, right? One big part of this is just coming up with concepts or ideas through your hunches. Those hunches don't often come by themselves. They come through research. And one idea springs your mind in a certain direction to another idea. And next thing you know, you have a solid sort of concept. All right, so that's it for section 1 here. I'm gonna stop this now. We'll take a break. And then section 2 will be about some lecture here that will also be important for you to watch and embrace. We're going to be talking about CATS Chapter 12, which is all about metrics and measurement. And then we're also going to talk about Chapter 13 in the Young Book as well. So stay tuned for that.